Well, it seems that scientists don't actually know the answer to that one, although the time it takes for a plastic bag to degrade is obviously a lot longer than on the list popularly quoted on the internet. The different rates of breakdown. It turns out that materials decompose differently depending on a lot of factors, including temperature, oxygen levels, and many other factors. One important factor is the presence of water. Many landfill sites are hermetically sealed with plastic and covered at night, so water does not seep into the waste. Ohio State University has shown that adding water to waste sites increases their rate of decomposition, and the coarse material degrades differently in the ocean. Where does most household garbage eventually end up once it leaves our home? Certainly and clearly in our landfills. That's where the next set of stats should come from. Happy recycling. I kind of bounced through that quickly, people, but nobody really knows. This information was quite a long time ago. And it's obvious now that plastic has not been here more than maybe 70 years, so nobody's been testing it for the last, 200, 300, 450, or 1,000 years. So we don't know. But scientists know by investigating the compound structure of the plastics, and there's many different molecular structures that make various kinds of plastic, many of which have secret ingredients. And I found out a lot of wonderful information from professors and scientists that were participating in a movie called Fresh, Fresh, Fresh. Again, a very informational movie, and I suggest that you watch it. I don't know if anybody's watching any of these because nobody's commenting, but anyway, I'm highly recommending this film. It's full of knowledge. Speaking about recycling, which is what pretty much we're all doing when we read a list like this, trying to figure out, okay, we have all this recycling information and we feel real good when we say, okay, I can use this plastic container because there's a number on the bottom. And that tells me that it's recyclable in some way. So I'm going to take this plastic and I'm going to wholeheartedly use this product in the plastic because I know I'm going to throw it in the bin. And then the garbage truck is going to come and take it away. Where away is, I'm not sure. I know most of us do not know, but understand this. They give us a list of things that are recyclable, and I did have a paper on my refrigerator with my garbage people gave me. And I found out through these movies that these little numbers on here are not recyclable. They have a number on them. This one here has a number 5 that is not recyclable. This will go to the dump. This will also go to the dump. This here, I couldn't even find the number on it, and then I finally found it on the lid. This is where I get my delicious cheese. When I get lazy and don't want to, get the wedge and grate it, which is what I'm going to do from now on. But sometimes it's just for convenience sake, and we all do everything for convenience. This is more convenient. On the lid here, I finally found it on the back of the lid here. It's a number 4. This will not go into any recyclable bin, so don't waste your time with this. Just throw it in your regular garbage. There's another thing. Very good product, by the way. Tequila Rose. Strawberry liqueur made from tequila. This is what I was talking about my girlfriend serving us on New Year's Eve, and it was yummy. So she gave me a bottle as a gift, and unfortunately, it's plastic. And unfortunately, it's a number 7. So this is going to go to the dump. Don't bother throwing this in your recycle bin. This is another thing that, according to, Driscoll, is it? Yeah, Driscoll's. Driscoll's Berries, I've talked about them before, excellent organic company. Unfortunately, they do put their berries in these plastic containers, and it is a level, in the little triangle, it's a 1. And this is a level 1 and level 2 are the only plastics that are really recyclable in some way, where they actually do something with it. However, where it goes to recycle it, to melt this down and remake it into something else, and I understand that when they do remake it into something more, we can only do that one time, and it's a real messy process. It's pollutant, and it's smoky and messy and stinky and pollutes the environment, and these things will get crushed, bundled, and put on a tanker to China. And those are the people who have the women and the kids sifting through this crap, trying to find the things that are recyclable, and then they go to a plant and they burn it up, and it's a stinky mess. Saw a little bit of the process on how they do that. So this, although it's recyclable, we're not recycling it here. I haven't found any information about any recycling plants here that actually recycle. They sort the different numbers out, and this one here will go to the dump. This one here will go into a recycling bin, which will go to China. I don't know of any place here that's actually making this into something else. So, but it does make us feel good seeing all these numbers. Oh, our conscience is clear because it's got a number on it, so I could use this plastic product and then toss it in the recycling bin, feeling good that I did something good for America when we really didn't. This is another product here that I'm not happy about. This is where our baby bells come in this net. This is something that is a big problem for our marine life. It strangles them. It entangles them, and it kills them because it breaks up and they eat it. If anybody would like to talk to these people about maybe not using this packaging to put our little cheeses in, it's not necessary. Cellophane is a much better product than a plastic bag. They could put it in cellophane or even in a paper bag. I mean, the cheese is wrapped in plastic, in wax. It's coated in wax. I don't even know if there's plastic in it. I'm assuming it's just wax, like that red wax that they used to make a seal with when the king sent a message, and he put the red wax in there, and then he put his little seal on there. I'm assuming it's the same type of red wax. But needless to say, we don't need this to endanger our marine life and mess up our oceans. It's enough of a mess. So if anybody is interested in talking to them or writing them a letter or calling with a comment, I could read you the information on here, but those of you who use Baby Bell, I don't have my magnifying glass here, and I don't want to take the time to have to search for it. So get the information, write them a letter, or call in your comments saying that you don't think that this is a necessary item to package their cheeses in. Also, plastics that we have that are damaging. If you notice, this is an old thing that I used to heat food in. I used to freeze my food in here. I would heat it in the microwave. And if you see this degenerative markings on the plastic, when you reheat something in plastic in the microwave, or you heat this up in your dishwasher with hot water and harsh detergents, it will break down the plastics. It'll get scratched and cracked, and it will bubble. And when that happens, I mean, you could even see on the cover how it's scratched up and discolored. And I mean, look at that. And the inside of this is all scratched up. And when the seal of the surface of the plastic cracks, scratches, gets scraped, gets damaged, that is when a lot of these toxins leach out into the foods. I mean, even without the cracking and the bubbling through heat, we have a lot of traces of polymer and the bisphenol A product chemical, which is a very toxic chemical that we're drinking with our water. It's in the water bottles, and when the water is sitting in the water bottle, and it's leaching out the toxins, so that when we drink from that plastic bottle, we're swallowing microscopic molecules of that toxin as well. And if you remember, I was talking to you about the plastic coatings in some of the cans in my last video, and I talked about some canned products that I got at Walmart, and I showed you the white coating inside the can, and I scraped it off. Well, yeah, scraping it off will put that toxic particles in the food, but just having the food sitting in liquid in that can, it's leaching the BPA out of that plastic coating. And one of the things that I learned in this video, and it's very true, that if they're going to do that, and this is the can that I demonstrated before, it was the Great Value I had green beans in it. It was a big can. And when I opened up the lid, there was this white coating inside, and also I did a tuna fish can which had a gray coating inside. And when I scraped it, you saw how the coating came off. But it's just as dangerous without being scraped. This type of product here will, these cans that are lined with this waxy plastic coating will leach toxins into the food. And what I learned in the film is that if they're going to do this and they're not going to tell us about it, it's scientifically proven that this BPA is toxic and it will leach into the foods that are housed in these type of packaging. They have to put that as an ingredient in here. It's corn, it's water, it's salt, and it's bisphenol A toxic chemical, because it is an ingredient. If it leaches into the food before we consume it, it is part of that food. It is an ingredient that needs to be listed. They're not listing it. They're not even telling us that that is a deadly coating that's being put in these cans. And like I said before, I don't know why. These are going back to Walmart. I'm going to tell them that because of the way they package their foods with toxic coatings inside the can, I cannot eat toxic food. And I'm going to have to return these and not buy any more of their canned products. And I will make sure that the manager of the store hears my complaint. And I will also write a letter to Walmart corporate office and tell them the same. Because we have a right to know what's in our food. We have a right to know what's in our packaging, what's coated in the cans that our vegetables and fruit are sitting in before we open that can and consume it. And they're not telling us. And by the grace of God, these people that make these documentaries are trying to educate us, trying to inform us about what's really going on, and that's why I feel very blessed to be able to view these films and learn from them. So, there's just a lot of things that these plastic things are doing to us that are very, very bad. Because not only are they harming us when we eat products from these things, but once they are in the landfill, these toxins continue to seep into the soil, into the water, into the marine life is eating it, and it's a very, very bad thing. And they were even showing in the film, when they were out in the ocean, how these plastics, when they do break down via ultraviolet light, the sun, because when this is buried, depending upon the environment, it will not break down. Plastic will only break down with sunlight, and it doesn't. It breaks down into tiny pieces. It doesn't go away. When you have something that's biodegradable, that means that it's there's something alive in there, like bacteria, that's going to eat that product, like a natural food product, like an orange peel or a banana peel, or a paper bag or something like that, that comes from a natural product, and there's a certain degree of bacteria in there already, so when it's buried, the bacteria will eat itself up and it disappears. Bacteria does not like this. This is not on their dinner plate. They hate this. They will not eat this, so therefore it just stays in place forever under the ground. If sunlight should hit it, it will get brittle, break down into tiny pieces, and kind of just break down into smaller pieces, but the pieces are there forever. And they're in the ocean forever. And when they skim the ocean, when they put nets into the ocean to try to capture the plankton-type particles of plastic that are floating in there, they're saying that there's so much of it, they don't feel that there's any possibility of cleaning it up. And when the fish mistaken those tiny pieces of plastic for plankton, they're eating it, you know, and then the toxic pieces of plastic are in their system, poisoning them. We eat the fish, we're getting the toxins from that plastic. The birds eat the fish, they're getting the toxins from the plastic. And then there's so much plastic accumulating in the bellies of these birds that there's more plastic than there is nutrition. There's no food, and then they die with a belly full of plastics. And oftentimes, birds will just pick at something, that's shiny or floating, and they might mistake it for something else, and they'll grab it. And we've even seen cigarette lighters in science of the albatross because it attracts them for some way, the way the sun reflects off of it when it's in the water or laying on the beach, and they just swallow it down. And then they regurgitate that into their little chicks, trying to feed them, and all they're giving them is plastic. So the birds are dying, the fish are dying, we're dying, the ocean's dying, and it's a effing mess. It's a mother effing mess. So we have to do the best we can to correct this with our individual actions, because fighting the corporations to do this is a really tough job, and the only way we can really smack them in the face with this is by smacking them in the pocketbook. And if we don't buy the products that they manufacture, and we write a lot of letters talking about being displeased with what they're doing, maybe they'll make some changes. But it's going to take a heck of a lot of people to do that. And but it only takes one person at a time. One person at a time, and maybe we can put a little dent in this problem. So that's my tip of the day, is a little knowledge about bisphenol A. That's BPA, bisphenol A, toxic chemicals that's in our, lined in our cans and in our plastic compounds. And the next thing that I like to talk about is phthalates. That's also a very toxic product that is affecting everyone, especially our children. So anyway, that's pretty much my nutritional tip to try to help us eat healthy in this weight loss process, this journey that we're taking. Understanding what we're eating and what's in it is a big, big, big need to know. We need to be in the know about this. It's not just a matter of losing weight. It's what the food that we're consuming to lose this weight is doing to us, because no point in being cute and sassy and thin if we're going to be sick people, toxic people that are going to develop diseases from these chemicals. It's unfair, and it's just not right that we're treated in such a way. So we have to fight back in whatever way we can. So my friends, do what you can. Educate yourself. Knowledge is golden. That's all you have to do. The more you know, the more you'll do, and the better off we'll all be. The better off the world will be. One little step at a time. So that's about it. This is probably a very long video because I do tend to babble on and on about this. So I will sign off for now, and hope you got something from my tip of the day. Bye.